Alright guys, so today we're gonna be doing a video. Yeah, we're here with
Total Dino, what's up?
yes, TV Boy 7812 Mog Man, yes. So kinda a little bit late to the party with this. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're gonna be talking about this Fnaf thing that pretty big lore. So you excited to figure out what this is? Because I've been waiting for a while to talk to you about this.
I'm very excited. I have no idea.
So well, if you don't know what the Mimic is, well, what if I told you that Burntrap and Glitchtrap is not William Afton?
What? What are you on about?
What? Burntrap and Glitchtrap is not William. What if I told you that?
I don't believe you.
I know, so I'm just gonna quickly say that there's a lot of like confusion, like details go on like wrong or like missing, like so some stuff like or it's like all over the place. So some stuff's like people saying that it's definitely confirmed, people saying it's not. I mean, there's so many details that that have been lost like through trying to like cut out the unimportant details. So I think I've got them mostly right. Plus these were revealed through the books, the Tales from the Pizzaplex books. So they might so these all didn't release in the chronological order, but I have ordered these in the chronological order. So yeah, I'll be telling you the story. So if you already know what the Mimic is, I just want to hear the thoughts, then just skip to the timestamp on screen. Yeah.
Alright, so you're essentially saying everything I know about William Afton is just wrong.
Post Fnaf 6, yes.
Wow.
Think so. Not confirmed. Think so.
That is still...
Let me explain this story, alright?
Alright, go on.
Feel free to interject if you have any questions or anything. So, in around the 1980s, there's a guy named Edwin, and he's an engineer. He lost his wife who had given birth to their son David, and he brought out a factory and lived in the factory as well with his son. And he also he would also agree to be brought out and work for Fazbear Entertainment, since he was like running low on money. And he created I think he worked on the original animatronics, the classics. I'm not sure if it's the FNAF 1 costumes or probably the withered animatronics before they became withered, because there's the location when they were repaired, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, he created this endoskeleton called the Mimic. And it was basically designed, it was first designed to be a friend for his son, so he could look after, the Mimic could look after his son and entertain him, so he can, so Edward himself could work on his work, and he didn't have to babysit his son. So the Mimic was coded to mimic human behavior, and it had a program on it called Mimic 1. And the limbs of it, it could extend and retract, so it could fit into any animatronic suit or costume. So I'm not sure if he had this from the very start, but I'm pretty sure he did. I'm not sure though.
Wow, yeah, that seems very broken.
What?
So what I'm getting at here is post FNAF 6 is entirely changed here, right? So
we'll get into that later. I'm
just confused in how everyone speculated, oh my god, William survived another fire, you know, he's always coming back. What happened to him?
We'll discuss this later, don't worry. But any questions so far, or you want me to keep going?
No, keep going.
Yeah, sorry if I keep stuttering and messing up my words. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. If you need me to clarify something, just tell me. So so the Mimic and Edward's son David spent a lot of time together drawing and playing. And they would also play in the they play dress up with the animatronic costumes that Edwin was supposed to be putting endoskeletons into. So he obviously wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either, to be fair. That
And David had a toy tiger, white toy tiger, and his hand would be curled in a certain way when he's holding it. So the Mimic would mimic that position where he would mimic David holding the tiger. And remember that Burntrap's arm is curled, like when you see his arm curls up from the pod.
Yeah.
And it's his left arm is in the trailer as well, and it's
wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah, and one day David is playing with a ball, and then it goes onto the road, and he chases it. And I'm pretty sure you can guess what happens.
No.
It becomes roadkill.
Oh, roadkill. Alright, so, okay.
And then Edwin, he's grieving for him. He would eventually, because the Mimic would mimic the actions he did with his son, and he'd keep reminding him of his son, so he'd lash out at it. And he'd be so enraged that he'd attack the Mimic, almost destroying it. And he'd eventually abandon his factory and leave the Mimic inside there.
Ah, so you think that might be where...
Yeah, that's where people think, no, people think that's where... Wait, what is it?
So is that where the Pizzaplex was built over?
No, that's over FNAF 6, bro.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to figure out how Burntrap would get there to begin with.
Yeah, we'll get into this later. This is the origin of the Mimics. So you need this is the 1980s, remember? Around FNAF 2. So then later on, Fazbear, 7 months or so later, several months later, Fazbear Entertainment would eventually take ownership of his factory and his company, Edwin's factory and his company. And they would send out a team, I'm just going to say Team A, to search the factory. But they don't come back, there's no word for them. So they sent out another team, Team B, to find anything, any like what's it called, like any like valuables or any like classic machinery or anything in the factory that's worth keeping. And they would find members of Team A dead, like in the fridge, hung up like clothes and like stuffed in cabinets. So it looks like
that's terrifying.
Mimics being fueled by the violence that was Edwin put onto him to kill the Team A, and he used the information from his old daily tasks to quote unquote hide the bodies.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And then apparently the Mimic would chase and kill Team B in gruesome ways. And in this story, it ends with the Mimic ripping out the trachea or slash, I don't know how to pronounce it, the trachea slash windpipe of one of the Team B members.
It's still terrifying.
Yeah, they say FNAF is for kids after security breach.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So this bit's a bit blurry because this is where it goes into the next story. So the Mimic somehow leaves the factory or is taken by Fazbear Entertainment. They are taken by Fazbear Entertainment. And they're apparently going to mass produce the Mimic Endos, but they're all deactivated or something because of an error.
Interesting.
And apparently only the original Mimic was still remained, and it was given like a speaker slash the ability to speak. Because it couldn't speak originally. He used hand gestures originally.
Right, that does make sense.
Yeah. So now we go time skip all the way like 40 years or so to the time around when the Mega Pizzaplex is being built. So the Mimic is shipped there along with I think the Glamrocks or some other animatronics, I think, and apparently he was going to be a guitarist alongside the Glamrocks.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently at this time it looked like it was all rusted. It looked like it had survived the fire, but and it had a new shiny head apparently. So that's a bit interesting.
So he's been repaired somewhat?
I mean, his head apparently looks brand new and shiny, but his body's like all rusted and burnt apparently or something. An employee at the Pizzaplex decided to borrow the Mimic Endo and use it to help him clear out the abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, the FNAF 6 one from Pizza Sim, of course, under the Pizzaplex, since apparently it was originally going to be a museum.
Really? A museum?
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't going to be a cover-up to hide the trap. Maybe, I don't know.
It does kind of remind me, this could be around the same time the horror attraction for FNAF 3 was built.
No, this is around the time of the Pizzaplex, so it had to been after, because the Pizza Sim would have been burnt down. Yeah, Pizza Sim's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place would have been burnt down. FNAF's Fazbear's Fright would have burnt to the ground, so it can't be.
That's true, actually. You're right.
But he could have gone through one of those, maybe. I don't know though. So anyway, the employee decided to recode the Mimic Endo to rip off the limbs and heads off any remaining endoskeletons and just pile them up. I wonder what that sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like the Blob.
Yes. Wonder if it's creating the Blob. But when I first read this, I was wondering why are there endoskeletons down there? I mean, the only real animatronics would have been the scraps. But then it could have been the mediocre melodies, the rocks animatronics. Could have been all those actually. Yeah. You think?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, we also see in the Blob like the puppet and all that. Like, how did
the classic animatronics. So maybe there's something else happened down there. I don't know.
There's a few unexplained things, but it does make more sense explaining it this way.
Yeah. So apparently but the mimic would end up not just ripping off the limbs and heads off just the Endo skeleton, it starts doing it to the employees. And apparently it starts on a killing spree, and then one surviving employee goes and begs for the entry to be sealed off. And then and it's sealed off apparently in the entrance to the entire area of, where the pizza sim location is. So they sealed it off.
That's pretty ballsy. He was like, no, don't worry about me dying, just seal off the game.
Yeah. And apparently later on, some teens later broke into the pizza place and find the Mimic Endo, and the Mimic Endo apparently just starts killing them, yeah.
Yeah, I want
Kills all of them except 3 of them. These 3 plan to lock up the Mimic Endo in a storage room. So that apparently the plan was for one guy to be used as a bait, and he would escape through the vents while the other 2 barricade the door and lock him in. So this ends up being somewhat of a success. The Mimic is trapped, but then he kills the bait team. The teen. He kills him.
I mean, I'm not surprised, but
yeah. So this was a bit blurry. I don't know what happened to the Mimic Endo. Maybe it got out. Maybe it was still under there. But later on, the Pizzaplex opens. Apparently, a baobab tree called the Storyteller is gonna be put into the Pizzaplex, like near the center of it, and it's gonna be. It was made to tell stories and generate ideas, apparently. So there would be a main controller inside the tree that would send out instructions across the Pizzaplex.
Oh.
And then here comes Edwin again. He's now an executive producer of the Pizzaplex as he watches, he hears about, this, being, implemented, and he's curious about what the main controller will be. And you know what he sees get installed into the center of the tree?
What?
A white tiger head, Edwin panics as he sees, and he just has some memories flood back into him. Memories of an incident with, like, screaming and blood. They just come back to him. And apparently it says that he has seen that head before.
What?
Yeah.
Well, that's not great.
Yeah, so months later, this tree is completed, and it's connected to the main Pizzaplex, all the systems, like all the vendors, all the animatronics, and the animatronics start acting up. Apparently, even Glamrock Freddy.
Really?
Yeah. And then Edwin would want to go in, and he would go and investigate. Edwin goes and investigates, and he keeps sticking into the tree and trying to fix the code of the storyteller of the head of the white tiger head. And security would find him exiting the tree, and he would inform the head of the company, Mr. Burrows. And then the story. It also mentions that the storyteller is running the Mimic 1 program.
Oh.
Mr. Burrows would eventually find the hatch to the tree opening, and he would see that that's how Edwin got in. He'd see it open, so he would go and remotely close and lock the door and just let him suffocate in there.
What?
He thought he'd cause the malfunctions.
Oh, gee, that's cold-blooded. Just when you think...
A few days later, the tech crew come back, say they want to work on the storyteller. Mr. Burrows, he wants to see if he's still alive. He thinks he is. He goes back and he sees him limp, and there's a sticky note and a crayon. The sticky note has a drawing of part of a stick figure. It looks like he was in the middle of drawing a stick figure, and written on it is "I'm sorry." And then Mr. Burrows is locked in. The hatch closes and locks him. So he tries to enter the password in the terminal, and he tries to disconnect and destroy the tiger head, but it's no use. And he's just stuck there, and he loses consciousness. I don't know if he died or not, but
jeez.
Yeah, that's it for now. Lastly, I'm going to mention that in upcoming Tales from the Pizzaplex book, there's going to be a story on the on this white tiger animatronic. And apparently it's about a kid plays the a VR game or something. So there's a VR center there at the Pizzaplex with the white tiger animatronic, and he's there. But when he leaves, he feels like that he can still feel the tiger animatronic still with him.
What does
That's
that
what the
feel
book
like?
back of the cover says. But that's an upcoming story that hasn't come out yet. So yeah, what do you think? What's your first reaction to this?
I'm very, very, very shocked that it actually makes a reasonable amount of sense. I don't like it because everything I knew is now being contradicted, and it's confusing. I don't know what to feel.
So to what extent do you think Mimic is Burntrap and Glitchtrap? Also, I want to quickly point out that Burntrap is not Burntrap is not a fan name. It's an official name found in the game files. That's where it was first named. If it was a fan name, it would have been Scraptrap, because that's what a lot of people wanted to call him, but it ended up being Burntrap, because that's what the game files call him. Just like, because if you still consider Burntrap a fan name, that means Golden Freddy's official name, Yellow Bear, is a fan name, so...
That's actually very true, but who's considering that?
So to what extent do you think Burntrap / Glitchtrap is the Mimic?
I want to believe Burntrap has more chance of being the Mimic than Glitchtrap does.
Why?
Just because a lot of the pieces of Glitchtrap's story haven't fallen into place yet. I mean, if the new book comes out and it tells another story, then fair enough, right? But as of right now, I am in denial.
Maybe I'll eventually warm up to it. So yeah.
I don't want to accept it yet.
So what do you think of Burntrap? You think he's the Mimic?
I say right now 60-40 for Burntrap being the Mimic. 60 on Mimic side.
Yeah. Apparently, there's some other information that I'm not sure if this is true or not. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. This is why I didn't include it, because I don't think it was in the books. And then maybe they will just combine the pieces from the books and the games together to get this information. Because apparently, I heard that the Mimic one's circuit board was scanned into the VR game to make it so they could recreate the animatronics. And apparently, there is where it found out about William Afton and wanted to mimic him and be him. But I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Well, that could explain that he's not directly William itself, but he's gathered inspiration from him.
Yeah, so he's basically copied him. He's basically, yeah.
It's not great. I mean, you don't want to kill an arsonist, child murderer that's a psychopathic living hellstorm.
What? You don't want to become him.
You don't. Becoming him is like becoming the root of evil itself.
I mean, he doesn't know what's right and wrong. He doesn't have a sense of moral.
Yeah, but that's what makes it so much more scary. At least William, he was careful and precise about what he did, whereas this thing would just be like on a killing rampage.
Doing the most brutal ways ever.
Like,
out the windpipe.
I know. And think about it this way: William had some sense of accomplishment for what he did. Firstly, and secondly, he knew how many kids or how many adults he planned to kill beforehand, right? And he stopped after that amount, or killed any witnesses, and that's it. He left it at that. What this is doing right now, the Mimic is essentially being, oh, I'm gonna go into the streets in the public and just start murdering every child I see.
What?
And he's got no sense of morality or common sense in it. It's just gonna stab every single child it sees because it's copying William. I mean, think about it, though. Think about it. It doesn't have a sense of choice.
Why it went after Gregory.
It doesn't have a sense of choice. It doesn't know what's right from wrong, and it's just gonna go murdering every single kid it sees. That is slightly concerning, if not very.
Yeah. And, so adding on to the, Burntrap name, the Fnaf character encyclopedia, that said, Burntrap is not his canon name. So do you think Burntrap's canon name is the Mimic? Do you think, yeah.
There's a possibility, but it's also probably just a loophole. I mean, they might just be trying to save and expand on for later stories, which is why they've kept it anonymously blank for now. But that's just a thought. I don't know if that's true or
not. Apparently this is, do you think this is a retcon? Do you think this is a retcon because of the fan backlash?
Do I think it's a retcon? You know what? I want to say yes, but at the same time, I don't think it is, because it's been picked up by new studios before. They're seen to have been changing FNAF lore drastically from
apparently
FNAF
Scott
6
wrote
onwards.
this. Apparently Scott wrote this.
I don't know, it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. I mean, thinking about from what happened in FNAF 6 onwards and how the game and the story itself changed, it's hard to imagine them going back to how it was, to be fair. Like, it wouldn't go back to being so simplistic after they've expanded into a massive new branch of possibilities. So I can sort of see this happening, I've got to warm up to the idea first.
Yeah, so yeah, you're kind of you're right on the bit, but well, we're pretty sure you're right on the not being a retcon, because apparently this was the books was planned around 2019, around Help Wanted's release / development.
Which
so apparently it most likely isn't a retcon.
I don't think it is.
Okay, so you agree that it's not a retcon?
I do agree it's not a retcon. Okay. I can't see it being one, not after what the new storyline has to tell, and especially if Scott's been planning it at the same time. Like he was years ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
His games had been planned out from the very beginning, as he stated in multiple interviews.
No, it wasn't. Maybe after FNAF. After FNAF 2 or something?
I think it's FNAF 3. He stopped playing and just started going along with it. But up until that point, he had visual ideas for every character he wanted to build. Like, that's a start.
I mean, for each individual game at a time, he didn't have, like, he wasn't going to plan out, or I'm going to do a sequel with toy animatronics. He didn't plan that out.
No, but, like, you hear in the originals, like, he goes, from the original game, from the get-go, when he first started creating it, the second the game came up, he knew the main character is going to be a bear, right? He knew that's what's going to happen. He knew the second animatronic was going to be a bunny, and so on, and he just sort of expanded on that, right? But the general premise of the game, he had initially planned out in his head, and then gone on to develop the lore over a series of years.
So he had basically had the main framework of everything
of
each game.
He had the development done in advance.
But he didn't have the framework of each individual of the entire story. He didn't plan out, oh, I'm gonna have a child get his head bitten off when he's developing FNAF 1. He didn't have that. Or I mean, excluding the Bite of 87. Maybe he didn't have
the
better example. Better example is Elizabeth being Scoops. Yeah, he didn't plan that out.
That's true. That's true, actually.
But it wasn't all planned out. It was planned out probably game by game. He just expanded and he intertwined it pretty well. He made it feel all planned out.
It mixed very, very well.
Yeah.
He's always been very good at that, which is why I think when the new studio took over, it didn't feel as good. But I mean,
they just had a hard time integrating everything.
I think it's also because, and I don't want to be biased here, because I do love the original games, just more. I'm sorry, but
yeah, of course.
It's biased, but I feel sympathetic for the companies, because we have such a high expectation now on what Scott has left behind as his legacy, that we start comparing the two in contrast, and it's just they're not really games to be compared, because they're so different to what they used to be. Right?
Yeah, wasn't it like 2 to 3 games like a year, like during like FNAF's high in like 2015, 2014?
Yeah, he did.
It was he released it early.
That's how high the expectation became.
Because they came out so quickly. That's why they had to rush Security Breach. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We're ranting.
Yes, just a bit.
Yeah. Apparently, people think that Mimic. That Endo-02 could be the Mimic, because the design kind of matches with like wires in his head, like the rib cage, the metal rod between the big eyes. Do you think Endo-02 could be the Mimic, and not a Burntrap looking
Endo-02? I'm gonna say no on that one. I don't think Endo-02 would be the Mimic.
Why?
I think if it's gonna be the Mimic, I think it would be an entirely new character, because at this point, I think Endo-02 is more of just. It's more of just an it is an exoskeleton. It's more of an exoskeleton of parts and service, right? Shells that used to habitat real suits and then were stripped apart for, new. You think it's
basically a model type, a type of a type.
I feel like
there's multiple Endo-02s.
I feel like Endo-02 would be the type that they would scrap intentionally to make new room. Does that make sense? Like, it'd be a model they intentionally scrapped for parts and service.
They were apparently going to plan out the Mimic. They were going to use the Mimic models, and apparently they might have actually started producing them, but then they had an error or something. So maybe I don't know if that happened on stage or not. Or I don't know, but I don't think it is. I don't think it is, because there's so many of them.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time believing it was, but.
The time kind of matches up around the 1980s era, yeah, kind of, but I don't know. It could be him, but I don't know. I don't think so. We'd have to wait and see.
Wouldn't that mean Endo-02 was also more closely in the original Fnaf diner, which I just don't see happening.
I don't know, but... Well, I don't know, but... Apparently, people think, the Mimic could be Shadow Freddy, because, in the character encyclopedia, apparently said, or maybe Shadow Freddy could be a major character one day. Shadow Freddy being really mysterious, but I don't think it's him at all.
No, I can't see that at all.
Because he's a suit, he's not an endoskeleton.
Yeah.
He probably has an endoskeleton in him, but...
Yeah, but he also... It looks like he doesn't physically manifest half the time, like...
Yeah.
And even if he does, how would he take the suit off, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but... That could, it could explain him getting inspiration from, William. I forgot to say, apparently the Mimic saw something, because apparently, I'm pretty sure it worked at, it was at Fazbear's or something, like maybe in one of the FNAF 1 or maybe FNAF 2 location, or... probably the one the Wizards were at, before
I wouldn't be
they were
surprised.
discontinued.
I wouldn't be
Because
surprised if
apparently
having posters...
Apparently it quote-unquote saw something, and that also sparked something in it, which is
you know
apparently the missing children's incident.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were posters everywhere hung up on the room, and it's just seen one of those.
Yeah, apparently it saw, apparently it was, kept it on one of the, locations. Maybe the FNAF 2 one, maybe the, ones, the Wizards before they were discontinued at the, apparently he might have seen the missing children's incident, one of them, I don't know.
Bite of
apparently
87.
saw something.
Bite of 87.
Yeah. But I don't think it would get, ripping,
but that's
people's,
just, yeah, but
ripping people's windpipes out of biting a head off. I don't think how those two really relate, but...
Yeah, but, like, at the same time, if it did see the Bite of 87, it would have had a more sense of morality at the time, because it hadn't adapted William's sort of killing nature
Yeah,
yet.
it would have seen an animatronic do it, not William.
That's true. That's also true. Fair point.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Do you like this approach of William Afton being dead, and but basically, or not being Burntrap, I should say. I think that's yeah.
Well, that would mean essentially he's dead.
Well, it could be Glitchtrap. I don't know. We'll talk about that later. But do you like this approach of the Mimic? Do you like this idea?
It's a very hard idea to wrap my head around, but at the same time, I can see it being possible. And it's not that I necessarily don't like the idea. It's new to me, new approach, and I think what the studio is trying to do is they're trying to wrap up William's story and the entire Afton family and move on to a new branch, a new lore topic entirely, and that's the sort of direction they're going towards, you know. Because we've been wrapped up in Afton's drama for how many years now? 6, 7. It's been a while, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if just like...
What if I told you this is then I'm pretty sure the 9th year of FNAF, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that just...
Because 2014, that's next year, 2024.
It just goes to show.
Just how much time's passed. We've had him so long. Everyone thought he was Burntrap, thought he was Glitchtrap. We're not sure at this point now.
Everyone thought
do you think this continuing on with this do you think this plot of the mimic being Burntrap, do you think this could work as a good plot point? Do you think it could work?
Yes. I do think it has potential if done correctly. If not done correctly,
I was going to say that, yes.
If not done correctly, it could be the worst decision they've made.
Yeah.
Because I can't see it being... It can get a lot better, but if they take a wrong step, it could be one of the worst decisions they've made for the series and a franchise as a whole.
Yeah, so what do you think about this whole Mimic thing being Afton? What do you think this does to the FNAF 6 ending? Like Henry's speech, the scraps, like what do you think it does to the FNAF 6 ending? What do you think it changes? Because we thought Afton somehow survived.
I think it makes it kind of pointless. I mean, no, it doesn't. I think it has more meaning to it.
What do you mean pointless?
I think it has more meaning to it now that we've learned Afton has a possibility that he didn't survive. It makes me more think of what happened to Mike.
The sacrifice of both Henry and Mike?
Yeah. Well, the sacrifice could be interpreted in many ways, right? It's not necessarily interpreted as a whole that Henry was in the building when he lit it up. He could have been outside.
No, he said he said he will be remaining as well, and that he will be nearby. He said.
Yeah, nearby though. That's the thing. Nearby. That nearby could be anywhere, right? It could be nearby the location itself.
You think Henry could have lived?
There's a possibility. With the amount of turns and twists they're taking in the series, there's a possibility. And Mike, I'm sure is probably dead now. But
yeah, you don't think he's Glamrock Freddy or anything?
I think it's a very low possibility, to be honest. I don't think, after all that time with Mike suffering, that he would, even if he had a way or like an option to be Glamrock Freddy, I don't see him actually becoming Glamrock Freddy.
So who is Glamrock Freddy? Why is he special?
Glamrock Freddy could just be a failed experiment of one of the company's misdesigns. I don't know.
Something from the 1980s, or there's this endoskeleton, yeah, maybe a kid died somehow, possessed it, and he's a good boy, he's helping people all the time.
That's it, you see, you get it.
another plot twist, the Mimic is actually Michael.
Well, there you go.
Burntrap is Michael.
Burntrap is Michael.
Yeah, so what do you think this you think this changes Afton's demise? Do you think yeah, what do you think, like, it made Henry's speech towards getting rid of Afton, like, at least, like, yeah, do you think it do you think it changes it?
It's definitely a lot more meaningful, that's for sure. I don't think it entirely changes the speech itself, because the speech itself was meant to be a heartfelt speech and meant to end,
ending.
Yeah, it was meant to be a final ending to begin with. So having it being retconned and William surviving anyway, it seems like that
wasn't a retcon.
It wasn't a retcon, but it's like the speech became pointless afterward if William had survived, because then it didn't live up to what it was meant to be.
Yeah.
If it was meant to be the final speech, then theoretically the series should have ended there with William's story, you know?
Yeah, but he was still around. He might still be around. That goes on the next one. Do you think he's still around? Do you think William's still out there? Do you think he's Glitchtrap? Do you think he's a rotting corpse somewhere?
I think you know what I think? I think what? we have another case of Fnaf 3 where he's just locked up somewhere, like, unable to move. That's exactly what I think.
FNAF 6?
In the FNAF 6 area. He's just locked up somewhere. He's alive, and he's just locked up. His endoskeleton's burned. He's burnt to a crisp. He's just not able to move, but I reckon he's still alive. And I reckon just like FNAF 3, where the workers found William, I reckon someone's gonna find William again a couple years into the future. And they're gonna open that door and
DLC.
And they're gonna open that.
That's not too far in the future, is it? That's like right after.
No, it's like 2 or 3 years, I think.
No, I think it's around the same time.
Really?
It could be. I don't know. We don't know yet.
There's a possibility.
But yeah. So do you think about William? Do you think, like, because in the what was it, the Fazbear Frights books, do you think like the story with, like, the man in room 1280 or whatever, like, with like Cassie, like keeping him alive, like not letting go? Do you think that, like, creating UCN in his head, do you think, that's still happening to him right now, that he's still out there?
Yes.
Like, being kept alive by Cassidy. That's the only reason he's still alive.
I want to say yes, but I also think Cassidy wouldn't... I don't think Cassidy would know William's alive. Here's the thing.
Cassidy wouldn't...
What if Cassidy...
torturing him?
What if Cassidy was part of the blob? It's never been confirmed, but we don't know exactly how many animatronics were a part of it. And we know that there are old animatronics there to begin with. So if people like Charlie were there in the final location, and they've been burnt, we don't know how many others were also led there.
Yeah, who knows? Was Gordon Freddy burnt or something? Was he just left abandoned in the FNAF 1 location? Was he, is he still around, the original suit? Maybe he's part of the Princess Quest game. I don't know if Cassidy's female or male, but whatever. Do you think
Cassidy is male in the game and female in the book, or the other way around? I think it's the first way though.
I don't know, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really change much. But anyway, do you think so yeah, you don't think Cassidy would know he's alive, but how would Cassidy be torturing William? How would she be torturing him? with ultimate custom, like how would he be torturing William with ultimate custom, like keeping him alive like that, like in the books? What do you think?
I don't think it would happen. If Cassidy didn't know he was alive, I don't think she would be able to torture him either, and that's why I'm gonna say that's not gonna happen to William. I think he's being kept alive for another reason.
You don't think
most likely
anything to do with him being alive?
No, I think most likely William's just too damn stubborn to die, like always.
Alright, let's
just won't accept it.
Do you think that since people got confused at why Burntrap did look like Scraptrap, people got confused at that because he was completely different, like his design was completely different, like and even like the flesh was intertwined with the endoskeleton. So do you think this explains why Scraptrap is different from Burntrap, and that we will see a really damaged Scraptrap or something another day?
I do think it explains a fair amount of why it could be different. I don't know if it goes into enough
body.
I don't know if it goes into enough depth as to why or how the parts of the body were changed yet. But
yeah,
there is possibility to expand on that. In the Mimic or whatever, if it even is the Mimic. There is possibility to expand on that though, and in the future we might find out. So for now we'll just leave it at there is a possibility.
Yes.
And it can be explained easier.
Do you think that William's body is actually a part of the Burntrap / the Mimic? Because apparently like the torso area of like Burntrap it actually matches up pretty well. It looks pretty similar to the Fnaf 3 endoskeleton, Fnaf 3 Scraptrap. It looks pretty similar. If you remove the suit and you look underneath, it looks pretty much identical to Fnaf 3 Scraptrap. Do you think it could be him?
This is an interesting one, but I'm gonna have to go no on that one.
You don't think it's his body?
I don't think it's his body. I think it has more possibility that it's a different entity entirely.
Whose body could it be? A random person? It better not be a random person. Yeah, it better not be. If it is a random person's body, that is so stupid.
I don't want to admit it, but there's a high likely possibility that it just went on a killing spree and just picked up someone's body. I mean, let's think of it here. We've got mad robot killing spree versus
it was completely like
man.
Discolored and like completely destroyed. So I don't know whose body that could have been, but so you don't think it's William? You don't think it's his body?
I don't
think his body's somewhere else locked up.
Most likely.
Do you think that the entire plot of the Mimic, do you think it was revealed really poorly? Like it was put in a book. There wasn't really any hints in the games or anything. Not in Help Wanted, not in AR, not in Security Breach even.
You know what? I think, and I'm gonna be honest here, I think that's done intentionally. Because for a lot of FNAF players in general, not many people have either picked up on the lore or have been keen enough to read the books, and I feel like this is more of a marketing approach to get people to read the books and understand the lore entirely. I think that's exactly what it is, and without reading the lore and knowing what's happening in the game, you have to buy the books to understand what the future events occurring are, right? And so that's exactly what it is. They're encouraging people to buy the books.
Yeah,
I feel like that's just more of a marketing approach.
But you still think that you think that they put some sort of hints in the games as well, like at least some small hints or something in Security Breach, something in Security Breach, something in Help Wanted, something in AI even, I don't know, just something, at least like a small note, like, oh, there's this endoskeleton or something.
I mean, well, you'd think so, but apparently not.
Yeah. I mean, because that like, I thought it was a retcon at first, but now thinking about it, no, it definitely isn't a retcon.
No, it's not a retcon.
That's just... So, like, why didn't they just, like, have any hint at all in the game? There's just no hint at all.
I really don't know, but it's so weird.
It's, like, completely separate, which brings the question of, do you think the books are canon? At least the, Tales from the Pizzaplex. We'll just talk about that.
Yes.
You think the Tales from the Pizzaplex
canon.
are?
I think it's canon.
Yeah, because apparently the Fazbear Fright and the novel trilogy, like the Fourth Closet, the Twisted Ones, and the Silver Eyes, those are in a different universe.
Yes,
but apparently it just gives into the like the rules and like physics or whatever of the FNAF universe. So it shows that like, oh yeah, this can happen. It shows you like, oh, this is how Revenant works or whatever.
Yeah, it's just giving more insight, if anything, which I can understand.
Yeah, those ones. But you think so you think the novel trilogy and the Fazbear Frights are separate? They are definitely separate, but the Tales from the Peaceplex are canon to the games. They're not canon to the books.
Yeah, I agree.
To the other set of books.
I think so.
Alright, I think that's actually it. Is there anything else you have?
No, I think that's about all.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's it from me as well. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. You can tell my voice is dying, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.